Hey there, good morning and welcome to Prog Monster. My name is Murph and I am the host of this show, a show that is dedicated to progressive rock, hard rock, heavy metal, and other forms of rock music. So this show that we're putting on today is my normal Sunday morning afternoon show, which is called This Week. This is This Week number 14 for the weeks of August the 9th. For the week of August the 9th through August the 15th. So basically what this show is about is it just kind of gives a rundown of what the content and what is going to be on the different shows that I do during the week, just so people can decide what things they want to watch, what they don't want to watch, or how to schedule themselves to fit the show. Okay. So this week we've got, basically, other than this episode, we also have an additional 11 episodes to be doing this week. The first one will be basically tonight. I will be doing the live experience, so I'll be doing, not live experience, the live stream, which will be my album Cage Match. I decided that I'm going to announce what I'm doing for the Sundays on the Sunday. But I'll also announce what I'm going to do the following Sunday, so I cover both days. And that's what I'm going to do going forth. So you'll get to know, unfortunately today you're only going to get to know about the live stream. Now it'll come at 8 o'clock because I'm going to do my live streams on Sundays at 8. This gives a chance for people who aren't in the North American hemisphere or in the time zone that I'm in a chance to come on live if they wish to. And so that'll happen tonight, and then also next Sunday, which I'll announce after at the end of this as I go along. But I'll also be doing so every time I do this show on a Sunday morning, I'll announce what's happening that night and what's happening next Sunday, so that in case you don't have time to do anything about it because it's too short a notice for the Sunday, you'll also know about it a week in advance. I was trying to figure out how to do that. I was going to just announce it on the week before, but then it's kind of confusing when you're doing a show before and it's not announced, right? So anyways, that's what I'm going to attempt to do. So having said all that, we're on to Monday night's look back at a classic rock album. This week it will be this one, Blue Oyster Cult's Secret Treaties. I like this album a lot. Hope everybody can see the album pretty good. It's a Messerschmitt 265, or is it 262? It's one or the other. Anyways, the first jet plane ever used by the Nazis, of course, on the cover. A lot of really good stuff on this album, so I think this will be one of my favorite episodes of the week to do. This album is currently on my playlist. It's been on there, I think it's been on there about 6 months now. It's my favorite album currently. It's the one I put down as my favorite every week. Have been for a few weeks now. I really like it a lot. There's a couple of tracks on there I absolutely love. Yeah, just makes you wonder why. I bought The Fire of Unknown Origin. I really like the album. It's like a really solid album, and I just never did any other Blue Oyster Cult until the last few years. It just makes no sense to me. Anyways, the next show that will come out will be my Wednesday night favorites. This week I'm going to do something a little bit different. So this will be my top 10 instrumental solo pieces from prog music. So could be a keyboard solo, could be a guitar solo, could be even a bass solo, might even be a drum solo, or it might even be a flute solo. You never know, right? So I'm going to do that. That's going to be my top 10s for this week from progressive rock only, not from any of the other genres. And I will try to stick with one solo piece from each group so that you don't get, because I love Rush so much, you could end up with 5 or 6 different Rush pieces, which leaves nobody else a chance to get in there. So I don't want to do that. I want every group to get a kind of a a sense of where I stand with these groups. So I will pick a solo piece from each of those groups that is my favorite by them, and then I'll put them in the top 10. And then at the end, I'll probably do a fairly lengthy honorable mention about other solo pieces that I like from like the same bands and different bands as well that maybe didn't quite make my top 10 for either the reason that they weren't my top 10 favorite or because I'd already picked a piece from that group. So I hope that clarifies that. So then we move on to our Friday Night Live video, and we're going to be doing this album from a band that's been very important in my rock development. It was the first band for me, and we're talking about this album, Kiss Alive 3, the much underrated third Kiss Alive album. Still pretty good though, so we'll be doing that. Then we're also for our, because I forgot to do this, mention this, that for the live stream tonight for the album Cage Match, it will be between Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell and Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz. This should be an interesting battle. Ozzy having been in Black Sabbath, Dio replacing him here, and then him going on to his own solo stuff here. Both really good albums, so I'm interested to see how people feel about the change from in Black Sabbath to Ozzy going solo. Okay, so that will be for that. What's next? Okay, so not on the list for this week, but will come the beginning of next week, will also be my Ben's album challenge video, which will come on not this Sunday, but the following Sunday, featuring an album that he gave me last week, and I've listened to it in its entirety once. We'll probably do more of that today, which is called, went out of my mind for a second, IQ, and the album is called Wake. I don't have the album. Could have it next week when I do the show. Not sure. If I see it, I'll get it for sure, because it's a good album. I think this will be probably a much more pleasing Ben's album challenge to him and to others. I've had comments, people wondering why I don't like this album or why I don't like it. But the thing is that I'm a little perplexed, because I never said I didn't like the first two. I didn't say that. I just said that I just basically critiqued the album the way I seen it, and what I liked about it and what I didn't like about it. But both those albums, I want to make it clear, I like them both. I just don't like the Journey one as much as people would think I would like it, and the Empire one didn't set me on fire right away. But I think I like both albums. They'll probably both end up in my collection at some point, because I like them enough to do that. And albums change over time, and your feelings about them change. Some of them grow. I've had this happen with even Rush. I did not like anything from Rush after Signal's album, and some of those albums have since become quite strong for me. So that's the way it is with me, and then especially with progressive rock. I almost never like a progressive rock album the first time I hear it. Some of them, and the best I can get, there's been a few that I have liked initially, Drama being the one that comes to mind most. It was my first Yes album, and I liked it right away. Same with Tab in the Ocean by Nectar, I liked that right away. But some of the other albums took a bit of time for me to get, and now they're among my favorite albums. So just wanted to make sure people understand that that's the way I operate. It doesn't mean that it's the right way or the wrong way, it's just the way I am. Okay, so having said all that, we also have the series that's going to be running this week, 7 pretty good albums. I actually don't own any of these albums at the present time, although looking at this, at least 4 of them I have owned as LPs. One of them as a cassette. 3 is LP, 1 is cassette, and the other 3 I never owned. And I've never replaced or gotten any of them on CD, so it's not saying that they won't end up on CD. I already have a couple of the ones in my first series at the beginning from 1 to 8, even a couple of those I've already said, yeah, they got to go on the list to get. So, and that will happen with this too. And that's the whole fun of this, is that you listen to this stuff and say, wow, there's some stuff here I'd forgotten about, or there's some stuff here that I never really listened to closely, or more importantly, there's some stuff here, wow, I didn't know that this was on here and that this was that good. So that's what I'm hoping. Most of the stuff we've done so far in the series has been pretty poppy, I think. New wave-ish, poppy, rockabilly-ish, maybe a little country-ish, some live stuff there as well. Not a lot of progressive stuff so far. That's going to come eventually. This week is, I think, the collection of albums is a bit stronger. But there's not a lot of difference between the one that went on day 1 and the one that's going to go on day 15. There's not a lot of differences. The height is probably like, the first day was probably like here, and the 15th days can be like here. So there's not much room between these two spots for these 15 albums, but it starts to get, the gap starts to get wider as we get closer to the end. So in some of these albums that I've marked down for like day 9 or day 11, I may switch a few of them around, because after listening to them I say, yeah, you know how it is, you look at an album and say, yeah, I like this one better than this one, and then you listen to them both, go, I think I was wrong, I think I actually like this one better than that one. That's generally how it works for me. I tend to be a bit of a mathematician, not that I am, but when it comes to things, I do the numbers in my head and figure out where this goes. But there's also an element with me of emotional attachment. So this album may score higher numbers, but this album may have more of an emotional attachment. And oftentimes, if they're fairly close, the emotional attachment one will win out, even though I think this album might be better. I didn't say that was the right way to be or the wrong way to be. That's just the way I am. So I was going to give you the list of albums for the series, but I find it's a little better for you if it's a little more anticipation. It's a little better for me, because sometimes when I'm doing these, I start by doing episode 9, and then I go on, and then I say, you know what? I do the album episode, and then I think, this album should be higher than this album, and then I'll switch them around, So anyways, I hope that this helps you with deciding what you want to watch, and helps you to decide when you can watch it and how you can fit it in. That's the whole purpose of this, is to make it a little bit more organized so that you can find what you want, as opposed to just taking things randomly. Some people like the random part. I don't mind the random part too. Some people won't watch this episode and will just watch whatever they want when it comes out. I'm okay with either way that you want to do it. That's great. As long as you're tuned in, I'm entertaining, and I try to be as good about everything as I can. So anyways, I hope you like this video, so please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And I'll be back tonight at 8 o'clock with the album Cage Match, which will feature Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz up against Black Sabbath's Heaven and Hell. 2 albums I like quite a bit, but both have had very different histories with me. So I will go into all that when we do in the episode. There's lots of time to talk it over. So take care. We'll see you soon.